Hey everybody, welcome back here. We took a week off or whatever. Had a bunch of stuff going on with school, work, you name it. But we're back at it here, and this time we are going to be talking about. This will be my final video for the concert memories at the moment, right? So this will be a forever going thing as I go and see more concerts. But this concert here is the most recent I've seen until I go see Cannibal Corpse next month. So, and actually, I'll be seeing them at the same venue that this concert took place. Of course, I'm talking about, you're looking at the title of the video. I went and saw Death Metal Legends Obituary. And man, this was one of the wildest, most fun shows I've ever been to. No doubt about it. There were some other bands who opened up. I think one of them was a local band. It's a real underground. I can't remember what they were, but they were cool. They got the place going and everything. Very cool venue. This was in Little Rock, Arkansas. And it's a really cool spot. I mean, I'm talking, we were right up at the front. And then here's the stage, right? And then you can just, they're right there. Not a massive venue, almost like a, a little dive bar or something, right? Or like a club kind of deal. And it was just such a cool thing. Some people, there were table stuff. Some people were up there eating and watching or whatever. But I was wanting to be right up in it. So yeah, we even hit the merch stands. By we, I mean my older brother. He went with me, and this was his first metal show, so he didn't know what to expect, right? And he hopped into a pretty crazy one with Obituary. But yeah, we went to the merch stands. Y'all probably seen me. I'm sure I've worn it in a video or before or something. But the Cause of Death shirt from Obituary, that album, which is my favorite Obituary album. And so I got that at the merch stand, very fair prices and everything. Just a really cool little spot there. And, I'm up in the front here. I'm not really into the whole, mosh pit thing. A lot of people are. They want to get in the whole pit and shove and push. And that's fine, whatever people want to do, right? Me, I'm just up there jamming, headbanging, vibing, up there jamming to some death metal, right? But I tell you what, in a weird way, that mosh pit and stuff kind of behind me going on, I'm feeling the push, everything. You have to kind of shove it back and everything. It adds a whole nother level. And this is how I describe to people, who are like, how, is that not crazy to be in that kind of environment? Not at all. It really kind of, even though I'm not up in the mosh pit, I don't really care to do it. It adds an extra layer of like adrenaline to the experience. It's like a survival, like a war, right? So I mean, I can't imagine what being in it is like, right? Maybe I ought to try it sometime. I don't know. I doubt it, but I don't really see the point in it. I just don't want to go and start just shoving people and random, I'm just not really into it. But having that going behind you and kind of feeling the bumps from it, having to turn around and push some people back and everything, that kind of adds an extra, like an adrenaline to it that gets the energy in the building going. And so, that was a really cool thing to experience, that kind of chaotic, wild stuff. I've never experienced something like that. I mean, death metal shows that's where it's at, clearly, as far as the energy level, and especially in like a really, kind of secluded venue, intimate venue like that, where, there's not too much space and everybody's just kind of cramped in there. We're all in there to jam. But that really added to the experience. I thought that was pretty cool. And even my older brother ended up digging it. And he was like, that was pretty crazy. And I liked it. I'm like, yeah, man. But, on to the actual, the music and stuff from the show. That it was just freaking phenomenal. After the two opening bands, which, again, they were good. I'm drawing a blank. Can't remember who they were. Some kind of lesser known guys, maybe a local band. I can't remember, but they were good. They really set the tone of the evening and everything, and got everybody pumped. And it sounded great in there. But when the lights went out, and you could hear, or you see like the smoke from the smoke machine kind of come up a little bit, and you hear like Terry Butler his bass just thumping. That's when everybody knew it was on. And Terry from of course from he's played so many death metal bands. He's like the death metal bassist, right? played with Death even, and just it was so cool seeing him up live and in person. Just very, very cool. Um, and having John Tardy give you a high five and stuff, just being right there in front of you, just head banging along, incredible. It was so cool. But I mean, these guys shredded it up. They played stuff off of course, the debut Eaten Back to Life. Of course, they played stuff off Cause of Death. They had to. I'd say that was probably the majority of what they played. They played stuff off World Demise. They really, and I think they played a few off their latest album, if I'm not mistaken, or their latest album at that time, which this was like a year ago, so that would have been like their latest album. So that was pretty cool to hear some of those newer tracks played as well. But I was super stoked to experience that show. Definitely suggest going to see Obituary. No doubt about it. One of the most fun shows I've ever been to. Easily some of the best energy at a show I've ever been to. It's like up in the top tier with that because of just how chaotic, and again, that adrenaline that it adds to the experience while you're hearing just the badassery of death metal, and not just death metal, but freaking Obituary. So that is such an incredible experience, and that's why, I got tickets, and tickets are pretty cheap at this place too. Like, I think it's like $45-$50 a ticket to get in. That's a lot cheaper than a lot of places now. It's a lot cheaper than wrestling shows, sports events, most bands, So, I mean, hey, to go see, like this October, going to see Cannibal Corpse for like $50, that ain't nothing, man. Sign me up, right? So, and that's going to be a blast. It's going to be at the same venue. So I'm really, really excited for that. And I think that's going to be such a fun show. And this was kind of the show this Obituary show was the one that made me be like, man, I need to see who else this venue's having and check into it more. And sure enough, that's when Cannibal Corpse popped up. And I've got the tickets to go to that thing. So it's going to be a blast. But this show, definitely one of the most fun shows I've ever been to. I'd love to hear if you guys have ever seen Obituary. Where at? Was it kind of a smaller, intimate venue like this? Because I kind of like those venues better. You're like up in it, Like I said, they're like, here's me and a bunch of the people, the rail, and then the stage is like right here. So, they were reaching out, giving high fives and stuff. And so I really like those intimate venues. It adds like a whole different feel to it. I mean, boy, it's hot in there, but hey, that's just kind of adds to it as well, right? To the chaos element of the whole thing. So, but I definitely would love to hear if you guys were seeing Obituary, if you guys loved seeing them, when you saw them, maybe even back if you saw them like in the late 80s, 90s, that'd be really cool. But yeah, and I also would love to hear your guys' latest concert that you've been to. I was about to say the number because I know I started the other video saying, hey, what's your first concert, second concert, third one? But I forget what number show this is for me. But your latest concert, I'd love to hear your guys' experience with your latest concert. And like I said, this is the last of these until further notice, which that further notice will be after I see Cannibal Corpse next month. So expect another concert memory video in October after I see Cannibal Corpse. And also expect to see the second last Megadeth album review until, of course, the new one comes out. We're going to be talking about Dystopia coming up here soon. So probably within, I may even do it tomorrow. We'll just see how that goes. But it's going to be this week. And after all this time of waiting, I know I've seems like I've forgotten about it. And to be honest, I kind of have. It's just kind of been in the back of my mind a little bit with a lot of stuff going on, doing different, started this series, doing some different stuff. But I'm actually going to be doing that ranking the Leatherface appearances that I've way overdue for, because I ranked those movies quite some time ago. So I'm going to be doing that ranking of those, the different looks of Leatherface coming up soon, probably this weekend. It's probably going to be this weekend when that happens. But we'll see. I might get it done even earlier. And after that, we'll take a look into the Saw movies. I'm going to review all the Saw movies. So stay tuned. I'm going to start hopping back into some of that. I might even do a horror figure collection update here soon as well. I've not done one of those in a while. So we got some cool stuff going on. And anyways, guys, like, subscribe, comment, and let's chat about it down there in the comments. Thanks.